So hello and welcome everyone to DCC and NIT-A YouTube channel. So now we are going to solve the problem K increment palindrome, which is asked in CodeChef starter 77. So the problem is like we are given an array A which is of size n, and also we are given an integer k. So we can perform an operation over here any number of times. Like we can select k different indices, and at those indices we can increment value by 1. Okay, so if we select three indices in this array, like 2 3 5, these are the indices, and we increment the value by 1, then the final array would be like this. And also we have to do this operation any number of times, and check whether it is possible to make this array A as a palindrome or not. Okay, so we can divide this problem as a sub problems by considering different cases. Like one of the cases could be for different values of n and k we can have different cases, right? So n and k can have multiple a lot of values, a lot of combinations could be there. So what we can do, we can generalize things a little bit. We can take four different cases. And what are these four cases? Like if n could be odd and k is odd. Another could be if n is odd and k is even, and if n is even, k is odd, and n is even, k is also even. So these are the four cases, and apart from these four cases there is also an edge case. In this edge case, like if what happens if n is equal to k, like what does it mean? If n is equal to k, for one operation, I have if I am doing any operation, then I have to increment the values at all the indices at once. So would it make any difference in the array? Like considering any array like 3 2 5 4. Now initially it is not a palindrome. Now we want to make it a palindrome, and what we can do, we can select like size of this is 4, and like k is also 4. Like at a time I can select k distinct indices, and increment the values by 1. So if I do any number of operation, like after doing one operation, the array would be like 4 3 6 5. So whatever many this operation I make, but the difference between these elements, like I want to make these two as equal and these two as equal. These are the reverse pairs. I want to make both all of them as equals. But if I'm incrementing this also and this also at the same time, like then how can I make this equal to this, right? So for that, like this is one of the edge cases. Like if n equal to k, if this condition arises, then if the array, if it's initially a palindrome, like if it's like 3 2 2 3, if it's initially a palindrome, then then only it is possible, to make this as palindrome. Like if we do any operation, like it will be 4 3 3 4. Now it is also palindrome. So however many operation we do, it will be the same as before, like initial one. So in this case, just you have to check palindrome or not initially. And if this is not the case, like this was one of the edge case, like for the general cases, like if n is odd and k is odd, like let's take all of these cases one by one. For this case, if n is odd and k is also odd, like considering any array, is there any array? 3 2 8 4 6. So 3 2 4 8 6, this is the array. Like we have to make this as palindrome. This should be equal to this equal to this. Okay, so now since this n is odd, the size of the array is odd. Like one element we are having which is not having any pair to whom it has to be equal with, right? So we can make use of this number, or this element. Let's see how we can make any significant use of this number. So if k is like, also the k is odd. Now if k is odd, now we can represent k as 2m plus 1. Like, I'm just representing k as odd. Like if k is odd, then it will be like multiple of 2 plus 1. So uh, we have to select k indices. If I select k indices, like one of those, like if I have to make these two elements as equal for now at first. Okay, if I want to make these reverse pairs equal, then what I can do, like one of the elements I will choose as this, like then how many numbers, how many distinct indices would be remaining? It will be 2n, because I am subtracting one. I have selected this indices. This is one of the indices that I will be selecting. This is 3. Okay, so I know that if I take this element as well, if I increment this 6 as well, then would there be any significant difference? Like if I increment this as well, then also the difference is same only. Like difference is still 3. Okay, so what I do, I will select only one number among the pair which we want to make equal. So I will select only 3, but I also have to select 2m, remaining 2m elements, right? So which are those numbers that we have to select? So um, we know that how many reverse pairs could we have in these 2m numbers. Like in these k numbers, like we have m pairs, right? If there are 2m indices you have to select, among those m will be the number of the pairs. So here if suppose k is 3, right? So one we have chosen, one number we have selected for this 3, and one of the indices is 3. So the remaining number of indices we have to select are 2. So how many pairs could we have among two indices? There could be one pair, right? If we divide this by 2, there could be one pair. Like one pair is like we are selecting uh, this and this. Now why we are selecting these two adjacent pairs? Now what I have previously told, that if we are making change in the reverse pairs, like if we increment this as well, both, then there won't be any significant difference. Like if this, suppose this is 8, like both of these are 8, and now we don't want that these two elements will differ. So if we increment 1 to both of these, like then also they will be the same. So we will choose the elements like such that they are already reverse pairs, then only we will select those. Okay, so these 2m numbers will be the indices out of which we want to make pairs. So there will be m pairs, and there won't be any difference. So we are successfully able to make these pairs, and we can increment 3 any number of times. And like this, I will increment this 3, like it takes 3 operation, but the number of operation doesn't matters. So it is always possible to make this as palindrome if this is the condition, if n is odd and k is odd. And what happens if n is odd and k is even? Like if this is the case, and k is like even, that means 2m plus 2. Yeah, so out of this like I want to make these two numbers as equal, right? I want to make these two numbers equal. So I will select one of the indices as this. So then the remaining will be 2m minus 1. Sorry, 2m plus 1. So among these, how many pairs I could have? From this, I could have m pairs, right? From these remaining indices, I could have m pairs. Like I can select this. But what about the remaining one? I can have the pairs, but there is also a single one. Like if I make changes to that element, then there could be some changes. Like if when we are doing a change here, then this change is making no significant difference. But if we make change in the remaining the single number, then it will make change. But also we know that we are having a useful number 4, like whatever change we are doing in this number, it won't affect at all. So this one number we take as this 4, and we can make however many operation we want to make the reverse pairs equal. So this in this case is also possible, like we can always make this array as palindrome. Okay, so yeah, it is possible in this case as well. Now what if this n is even? So change the conditions a little bit. Now if n is even and k is odd, now let's check this case. So taking any random array like 4 2 4 2, now this is no, we should not be taking any palindrome already, so it will be 3 5 6 7. Now size of this array is n is 6. Also this k is odd. Now k will be 2m plus 1. Now k is 2m plus 1, and out of this array, now we want to make this 4 equal to this. Now it's not necessary like we have to make this equal to 6. We have to do this, and after this, like suppose we have already done this. Now this is 7, this is 7, we have already done this. Now also we have to make this equal to this now. So let's take this. Now things will be same for those also, but let's consider this. We want to make these two elements as same, this 2 and 6. So what changes we can do? Like if we take now we have to take k indices, and k is odd. So one of the element that we have to change is like 2. We have to increment 2, and we have to make 2 equal to this number. So we can take this 2, yeah, for sure. And how many numbers will be remaining? 2m numbers will be remaining, and 2m, and how many pairs could be there? There could be m pairs, so they won't be making any difference. Yeah, so we can select these two, and there will be not any difference. There won't be any difference between those numbers, those pairs, like um, so like if we increment 1 to this, 1 to this, 1 to this, 1 1 1, not to this. So it will be 8 3 4 5, and this is the same, and 8. So we have incremented 1. Here we take k as 5. Now the difference between these two pairs is same. Just two. Difference between these two have changed because we have taken 1 only, and difference between these two is all also the same. So there is no difference between other elements, and we can increment this number, like any number, to its reverse pair, any number of times. If you want to make it as equal to this, we can increment it any number of times. And here also it is always possible, to make this as palindrome. Now let's check the condition for case for n equal to, if n is even and k is even. This is the case. So suppose this is the array 4 2 3 5 6 7, and we want to make this array as palindrome. Now I have k as 2k plus 2, 2m plus 2. Okay, so if I select any number, like if I want to make 4 equal to 7, so I've selected this, the remaining number will be 2m plus 1, right? So from 2m plus 1, I can take, like I can have m pairs that won't make any difference. That means we are doing these things just for not making any difference. Yeah. And the one here, the single element we have to take. What happened in the odd case? We have taken the middle element because that was not making any difference. But here every number have its corresponding reverse number, right? Every number having its reverse number. So which one number should I take? So here it is not always possible that we are able to make this array A as palindrome. So we have to check a little bit. We have to check another condition, another another approach we have to follow in this case to check whether we can make this as palindrome or not. Like what we can do here is like we can take the difference between the addition pairs. Like if the array is 4, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, like we can take the difference between the like first and the last, right? So it is 3. Then from the second and the second last it is 4, and from these two numbers the difference is 2. So if this sum of these numbers, if it is even, then only it is possible to make this array as palindrome, and if it is odd, then it is not possible to make this array as palindrome. Okay, so I hope it is clear with you, like the whole question understanding, like then approach the different cases, then edge case. So then also if you're having any doubt, you can comment it, and the code will also be shared in the description. Yeah, that's all. Thank you.